Don and Jacob for the Institute of Sports and Spines. Today we're doing a demonstration of correct lifting mechanics. This is a very common question that patients have when they come into our facility. Lots of people have an age-old belief that we should lift with the back straight, and the interpretation of this is that the knees drive out in front, the back is held vertically, and as you go down into a deep lifting position, the heels come off the ground. This is a very inappropriate way to lift and distributes load across the low back very poorly and often leads to injuries. To lift the weight correctly, we want to use a hip hinge mechanism. Essentially, this is driven by the glutes and by the hips. So the backside is pushed out, the heels are kept flat on the ground, and the weight is distributed through the heels and balls of the feet. The load can be lifted with the glutes that drive the movement to bring us into an upright position. The load should be kept as close to the centre of gravity as we can possibly keep it. When we watch this from the front view, you will see that the knees and the thighs are kept in the same plane as the foot. The load is brought into the centre of gravity line and lifted with a hip hinge mechanism. Next, we will demonstrate the golfer's lift. Think of this as a golfer getting a ball out of the hole. We lean forward, pivoting from the hip, and let one leg go out behind us. This allows us to maintain the lordosis of the lumbar spine, and we pick the load up and hip hinge back to the vertical position. This is an effective lifting strategy for light loads. It should only be used for loads up to around 5 kilos, maybe 10 kilos maximum in a strong male. Moving along, we're going to demonstrate lifting a cumbersome and heavy load. This is a latex mattress, and latex mattresses are always very heavy. It's also a very wobbly or spongy item, so it's going to wobble and move around, making the lift all that more difficult. So we approach the lift just the same as we did with the other loads earlier. We use a hip hinge mechanism. We have the feet comfortably placed shoulder width apart, trying to lift with the quads in line with the feet, and using the glutes and the hip hinge mechanism to lift. So we squat down, pushing the backside out, pick up the load, lifting, maintaining the normal lordosis, and hip hinge into a straight position. That concludes our demonstration of lifting.